Well, we're here once again next to Central Michigan University, Mount Pleasant, Wood Shop Social with Jim Wood. Jim, everybody's got some venison in the freezer hopefully by now as we're into the season. What are we going to be doing with some burger, it looks like, here today?
Yeah, so everybody always asks me, what do you do with burger?
Yeah.
We're going to make soup.
Okay.
So kind of a chowder, you can call it cheeseburger soup, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't really matter to me. And these are the basic ingredients, but you can add, subtract, you can add bacon, mushrooms, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
So
how do we get started?
So we're going to start with some butter. We're just going to get our vegetables kind of sweated down.
Okay.
So onion, carrot, celery, just basic mirepoix.
Now what's the difference between a soup and a stew? Is there much?
You just had to ask me that question. So a stew is traditionally cooked longer. It's almost like a braise, so it uses a tougher cut of meat.
Okay.
So you might cook it in the oven. You cook it on the stovetop, usually 2 to 4 hours. Where a soup goes together normally in less than an hour.
Okay. Now, do you guys do a stew / soup? I would imagine you do several here at the restaurant.
Yeah, so we do a soup seasonally. Right now, it's a butternut squash soup.
Okay.
But yes, we do soups like this every once in a while.
Any certain tips when cooking with venison? Like we hit that before, but when you're doing burgers, just cook it all the way through and.
Well, yeah, for something like this, you're gonna want to cook it all the way through. You want to remove as much of that moisture as possible, because that will impact the final product of the dish.
Did you season that meat at all beforehand, or no?
Nope. We're gonna wait till it's cooked, and then we're gonna season it. If you season something, when you add salt to something, you're instantly pulling out moisture.
Okay.
And we're trying to get a little bit of brown on this.
Okay.
So we don't want that much moisture. Okay, so we've cooked the vegetables down, we've cooked the meat down. We're going to turn the heat down a little bit. And we're going to add our flour, which is going to be our thickening agent. And we're going to whisk that up real good to avoid any clumps. Try to get it to not stick to the bottom of the pan as much. Let it cook for a few seconds, just to kind of cook that raw flour taste out of it. Now, turn the heat up a little bit. All right, so now that that's come to a simmer, we'll add our cream.
Oh, it looks and smells good.
Well, that's the point.
How long you need to keep those potatoes in there
Season
for?
our potatoes just until they're cooked through. So it depends on how long you cook them. Kind of taste them as you go. And then you don't want to thicken the soup or you don't want to add the cheese to the soup until it's just done. So once those potatoes are cooked, then you can add the cheese.
Okay. What's the name of this dish?
We're going to call this ground venison soup. Really creative.
Have to work on your naming.
I know.